Welcome everybody and thank you for coming with me today in my kitchen. We are going to be making a white cheddar mac and cheese. It is better than anything you'll get from the box. It only takes slightly longer to do. Now we're just going to start off by getting our pan hot, adding our 4 tablespoons of salted butter. Now I use salted butter so that I don't have to add extra sodium later. If you'll notice, I have my heat just a little bit too high and my butter is melting quite quickly. We're just going to want to keep moving that around a little bit so it doesn't burn. Now we're just going to take and add our flour. And this is what's going to create our roux. Now what the roux is going to do is it's going to help thicken up the sauce a little bit later. You see most common roux are made in thick soups or anything that you want to add some body to. A lot of people do use cornstarch, but I prefer the more basic flour because even though it takes a little bit longer and you got to cook the flour for like a minute to get rid of that deep flour taste, I find it does thicken a little bit better. And also the cornstarch, you actually have to use a lot more of it. Now we're just going to be taking and adding our milk here. Now once this is all mixed together, this will be what's called a white sauce, which is a classic French cuisine technique. It's the base of many, many other dishes. Now, a lot of people think that because you made a white sauce, you can turn this into an Alfredo sauce. That is not true. An Alfredo sauce is very different in the fact that its base is white cheese and milk and butter. There's no flour interjected. Now we're just going to keep mixing this together so that it does not burn on the bottom. That is one of the basic problems with having your heat up too high, which I routinely do. And just keep mixing this real good. You notice I tilt my pan a little bit just to get everything scraped up. Now we're going to add the heavy cream. That's also going to help thicken this up a little bit, but it helps the cheese adhere to something. Now, if you're wondering what happens if you don't put it in, your cheese will melt, but it won't really, it'll clump up more. It won't really stick out. It will stick to the noodles themselves instead of giving you that nice, creamy, rich texture that most people are looking for when they think of mac and cheese. Mix this up real good. And we're just going to take and throw in our white pepper, which gives it just a little bit of extra flavor, and a little bit of Dijon mustard. Now, I know you're thinking that it's weird that I'm throwing mustard in my mac and cheese. This gives it a classic taste. And I know you're thinking, well, this is I've never seen mac and cheese made like this. I grew up in New England. This is pure classic New England comfort. Hot days, cold winters. You want something thick, rich, hearty. And this is it. Now we're going to get this all mixed in together. And now we're just going to add our white cheddar. Now I'm using 10 ounces of a very extra sharp Vermont white cheddar. And we got to get all that in here. And we'll pick up the little strays that fell. Throw that in there also. Now I use the block cheese myself and I'll hand shred it. The reason I don't use pre-shredded cheese is because of the wax that they use to keep the shreds separated that look all pretty. But it does affect the texture and somewhat of the flavor of your mac and cheese later on. Now, once we get this all mixed together, you notice that I threw in some ham with that little blip. I'm sorry, I was having equipment problems. Now, I used 2 cups of ham, mixed it all together, and now we're pouring it over our 1 pound of cooked noodles. Excuse me. Alright, now we've got all the cheese sauce over there. We're just going to take and mix this thoroughly. Now at this point, you can actually just take and serve it straight, and a lot of people are going to be extremely happy with it. You're going to have those rich flavors that remind you of a classic New England night. But this being me, we're going to take it one step further here in a minute. So we're going to add like just a little bit of cooking spray to this dish. We're just going to fill this up generously. Now this meal goes great just by itself. Normally you don't need to add anything extra. But this is one of those meals that you're going to take and think, oh, it's just mac and cheese, until you've actually tried it. And then you're going to want to make it look nice, because it is a meal all on its own. So we'll just straighten this out a little bit here. Now I've got a little bit of a topping, which I made with half a cup of breadcrumbs and another 4 tablespoons of melted butter. We're just going to sprinkle this over top. Get it all over. And just a little bit more, just because of the texture and beautiful color it adds. We're going to bake this in the oven at 350 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes. And this is how it comes out. That cheese is melted, molten. You want to give it about 5 minutes to cool before you pull anything out. Now I served it with some garlic bread and a side salad. Now I'm going to ask you to please like and subscribe, and please share this video.